The doors opened without a sound. Cold air slipped inside first, followed by a small figure who hesitated on the marble floor as if the building itself might reject her. Light poured down from the glass ceiling, sharp and clean, but it did not warm her. It only made her feel smaller. For a moment no one noticed, then someone did, and then everyone did. Arya Nolan stood still, her shoes damp, her cheeks dusty, her fingers wrapped tightly around an old white card. The kind of card people usually forgot about. The kind people replaced without thinking. She held it like it could disappear if she loosened her grip, like it was the last quiet promise left to her. The bank was nothing like the streets she had walked for 2 days. Inside, everything moved with purpose. Shoes clicked, screens glowed, voices were calm, confident, practiced. This was a place built for people who knew where they were going. Arya did not, she only knew she could not turn back. She took one careful step forward, heads turned not out of care but surprise. A child did not belong here, a child like her especially, torn gray shirt, jeans too short, eyes too old. She waited, no one spoke to her at first. At the far end of the hall, Maxwell Grant laughed. It was an easy laugh, loud enough to carry. He was surrounded by people who nodded when he spoke and smiled when he paused. His suit fit perfectly. His watch caught the light. He had spent his life in rooms like this, shaping numbers, shaping outcomes, shaping people's futures. Nothing here surprised him anymore. Until something small did. Arya reached the customer desk and gently slid the card forward. The woman behind the counter, Elena, froze not because of the card but because of the hands holding it. Thin, shaking, brave in a way that did not ask for applause. I want to see what's on it," Arya said. Her voice was quiet, almost lost under the hum of the room. Elena did not ask questions, she did not sigh, she did not look away. She simply nodded and smiled, a soft smile meant for children who had learned too early how the world worked. After a moment, she guided Arya away from the desk, toward a private terminal reserved for accounts too old or too complex for the regular system. That terminal belonged to Maxwell. He noticed them approaching and raised an eyebrow, amused. He assumed it was a mistake, or a strange interruption. When Arya placed the card in front of him, his smile tilted into something careless. He took the card between his fingers. It was worn, faded, old. "You want to check the balance?" he asked lightly. Arya nodded. She did not smile back. She had not come here with courage. She had come because hunger is louder than fear. Because her mother's voice still lived in her memory, gentle and firm, telling her to keep the card safe. Because after sleeping on benches and being ignored by passing feet, she needed to know if hope was real or just another story adults told children to make them sleep. Maxwell inserted the card. For a second, nothing happened. Then the screen changed. His laughter stopped. He leaned closer, eyes narrowing, then widening. He refreshed the page, checked the account history. The room behind him continued to move, unaware that something rare was unfolding in silence. The numbers did not disappear. They grew clearer. Maxwell felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest, the kind of feeling no market shift could explain. The balance was not small, it was not reasonable. It was the kind of number that carried time, patience, and intention behind it. Elena stepped closer, she saw it too, her hand flew to her mouth. Arya watched their faces, confused. "Is it empty?" she asked. Maxwell did not answer right away. Years ago, a man named Victor Hale had built something modest and kind. He had no family, no children, only time and money he did not need anymore. In the last months of his life, a woman had cared for him at a community center. She brought her daughter with her sometimes. A quiet little girl who listened more than she spoke, who held his hand without asking why his shook. When Victor passed, he left something behind, not to institutions, not to names carved into buildings. He left it to a child who had given him company when the world felt too large and too empty, a trust, protected, patient, growing quietly year after year. Waiting. Maxwell stood up slowly. The room seemed to notice then, conversations softened. People watched as the man who never stood for anyone looked down at a child like she mattered. Elena knelt beside Arya and spoke gently, explained the truth in words small enough not to hurt. Arya's eyes filled not with excitement but with release, the kind that comes when you realize you don't have to be afraid anymore. She cried quietly. No one rushed her. Maxwell cleared his throat. He offered water, food, protection not as charity but as responsibility. His voice was different now, careful, human. By the time Arya stepped back into the street later that day, the cold felt lighter. The city felt less sharp. She held the same card, but it no longer felt like a question, it felt like an answer. She did not look back at the building. Somewhere above her, glass towers still scraped the sky, but for the first time they did not feel unreachable. If this story stayed with you, take a quiet moment to like it and share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe for more soulful stories like this, and in the comments write one word that this made you feel. Hope.